You've come here today and you've got a load of stuff at this table for me folks. What do you have at all? What's your connection to these objects, both of you?
The connection to these objects is my father was in the 1916 onwards. He came in 1917 and he was in the War of Independence. And there's a lot of stuff I have kept at home from my time and minded it. So it's all displayed here in front of us as much as we can.
And what was the man's name?
Andy Moloney, at Springfield, Clare and Clonmel.
And Gertie, you did a load of research on Andy.
I did. I didn't know the man because he died in 1979, but COVID, I suppose, when it came in that March, it opened a window for me because I was unable to work, so I actually put all this, I did a booklet on my father-in-law. We had a lot of bits and pieces at home, we've put them all together. He was born in 1899 and he was 60 years of age when Martin was born.
That's right.
So he fought in the War of Independence and he fought in the Civil War. We did a lot of research, we spoke to an awful lot of historians, we had a lot of data at home but didn't really know what it was or what it meant or where it came from. So yeah, we gathered the information and then we put this booklet together, which is all factual. He was going to school in Rockwell College and that was rumoured, well, hadn't he gone to school or did he go to school? So we found that out initially from the census. And then from there we went to Rockwell College and his photograph was on the wall in Rockwell College as a student, and also won the Rock Cup in 1916. So it all started really with Rockwell College. And then I went to a historian in Cashel, Bob O'Dwyer I think was his name.
That's right.
With all this paraphernalia here, and he was able to identify Martin's dad in one of the pictures. So actually his name appears in quite a few books. So I got very excited with all this information, but I suppose I had 3 small children and it was only then when COVID came that I actually put all the data together, and it was only at that stage that the military archives released the information. So sure, we thought we'd won the lotto when we got his statement and everything. So yeah, these are his medals here. This medal was for active service. You can tell by this bar here and the writing across. This medal was given then for the commemoration 50 years, and this is another medal of his with no ribbon on it, which was also given for service. Bar across this medal here means actually that he fought. He was in combat. If it didn't have the bar, you were in other service, but you didn't actually fight. So Martin, if you want to talk to Michael then about the gun.
Yeah, this gun was found in a trunk which my mother kept for years, and she had patterns of her dresses in, and she had everything. She thrown everything into it along with this gun, and this gun was rusty. It was obviously out in the weather for a while before I came into the house, and then I came on it at a young age, and so I went about trying to mind it the best I could, and then there was a scare one time at the Border Fox. I was going around Tipperary, and of course everyone was telling me I'm due something in your house and you have to get rid of it, so I went out and hid it in a rabbit burrow. But weeks had passed and I forgot what rabbit burrow I hid it in, so it took me a long time to find it. So I found it again, but it was more rusty, so I cleaned it up the best I could, and then I got it decommissioned, which you see is decommissioned there, and obviously blocked up, and the pin is cut topped on it, and so may never probably used again. It's a Wembley 45. And that's it. It's fairly good condition, but I'm sure there's other ones in better condition, but that's what we have at the moment anyway. And then obviously what I have as well is a medal, which is my niece have a medal that was made out of a crown, and he flattened it flat, and he printed it all with a nail, seemingly, that's what I'm told.
Nail and
hammer, yes, nail and hammer, and he made it out. That's the back and front of it. I don't know the shape, but that is actually the back and front of it. There's one medal, and this was in 1922 when he was jailed, and he was caught with other his companions, and they were caught around Rose Green somewhere, and they were brought away, and that's mostly what I have now at the moment. But there's other stuff there as well.
And where was he imprisoned?
We are still trying to find out at the moment. That's why we're probably here, and we're still trying to find out a bit more, because only now things are starting to come out about the whole scenario.
Yeah, he was in prison from 1922 to 1924. So we have exhausted a lot of avenues, but we're still not getting the information. So we spoke to John here today, and he's might be able to point us in the right direction. But what was interesting about the research that we were doing was the way everything matched up. We have Dan Breen's witness statement here. We printed that off the internet, and he speaks about Martin's dad on the statement. And then we have the statement of the captain, Captain Paddy Ahern, who was a neighbour of Martin's dad.
Yes.
And he mentions Martin's dad on his statement. And then on Martin's dad's statements, he's talking about Dan Breen and Paddy Ahern. So the whole thing absolutely all knitted together for us.
Starting to come together.
We have some pictures as well, which were hanging on the wall, and still hang on the wall in the house in Dalmucca.
Now these were all pictures that were in what we call in them times a parlour. Everyone called it a sitting room now. We were always told it was a parlour. It was only open for mess. They used to have mess once a year. Probably I was avoiding it anyway when I was my age. But this is obviously Dennis Lacey, and this is a lovely picture. This is always there, but this was rolled up in a roll. It wasn't hanging. It was just in a roll, and so we got it. My wife Gertie got it into a frame.
Yeah, your niece did it for you, Breda, didn't she?
And Breda Hoolan is her name now, and so it was between them they got it all done. And this what we have now is this picture of Lacey.
And this is just the 1916 Rising, the GPO in Dublin, another picture. But again, Breda got this framed, and she did all that work for us, for which we were very grateful.
Yeah. This also was in a roll, rolled up and put into the famous cupboard, we used to call it then, and to left in a drawer. And the drawer was even so, it was never opened, it was even seized. I opened it, and that cabinet actually is above now in Dora Castle, the cabinet of the house of our house now.
So that was in. I suppose a lot of the information we found too came from a trunk in Martin's home place where we still live now today.
Again, this is the one now that got a bit damp and maybe a few mice stuck in it. In that time, as you can see here, they did a bit of chewing. And this is the one, and here he is here, we're pointed out, as Gertie was pointing out, he's here.
The historian Bob Cashel identified him there for us. And a lot of the information actually was in your mum's trunk.
Yes.
It's referred to in the book there that I wrote.
Yes.
There was this very big trunk at home, belonged to Martin's mum. And when I got married to Martin, I didn't know what was in this trunk, and I say I didn't touch it maybe for a lot of time because it wasn't, I felt it personal, but we went through it and we found a lot of information with regard to Martin's dad. That's where the medals were, and the gun was there, plus a lot of different certificates and that. So I suppose Nellie, Martin's mother, has to get the credit for saving all this information.
As much as she could, yeah.
But when we opened the trunk, it was a gift really that we hadn't discarded it, or nobody else had.
And Martin, can I ask you a question as well? No, growing up, did your father or mother talk about this, or was it put away like when you were growing up? It was a hidden a bit. It was
possibly. I tried to get a bit of information out of him, but he wasn't coming forth with it. He was very tight-lipped about it. He might say a little bit when he was on his battle of Paddy. He might say a little bit of it, all right, but you didn't understand what he was saying. And then again, you must take, like he died when I was 19, and I was probably asking him questions when I was 12, and he was probably saying to me, look, you don't need to know what your age, and you listen, child, go away. And he didn't know that, but he often said to me that he slept in straw with Dave. I often had him come out of that, and he used to have wicked nightmares at night time because I often had him roaring and shouting, and I can imagine now I know really why. And there was often things he'd come out like I slept in straw, and the one thing he always said, Dick Mulcahy used to pay for all. Whatever he meant by that, I don't know. Whatever Dick Mulcahy paid for, I don't know, but anyway, of course Richard Mulcahy was obviously prominent, and but things like that, yeah. He never really spoke about it, and it was a pity, really, that we didn't get the information out of him. But maybe there was things he didn't want to say. There was, obviously, in that time, there was cousin against cousin, brothers against brothers, as we know now, as I knew in later years, which I didn't know when I was younger, obviously. And things that we took for granted, maybe. But yeah, he went through a bit of hell, I suppose, all right. And you wouldn't blame the man for the way he was. He lost his hand when he was about 50, maybe 45, 50, in a trash machine. And of course, that was another blow to him. And he took it from the elbow down. And his right hand his right hand. And so he kind of had to pull himself together from that as well. So obviously, I wasn't born then. And I was obviously born in 1960. And so I always, people ask me, how could you be so young? And I used to say to them, I often made out my sister dropped me in, and I used to like my sister over us, but obviously I'm a full-blown Moloney, as we know now. But it's something I would have liked to know more about, but now obviously the chance is gone with him. And my mother used to say, bits alright, but not too much either. I mean, she came from Killinall up to Palmucka. She owned Palmucka pub. And she came all that time way up. She was up to mind her aunt. She was sent up at 16 to mind her aunt. My aunt fell into a fire. She used to get epileptic fits and fell into a fire and burned her eyes out. So she was sent up at a young age to mind her for good. That was it. She never returned to Killinall. And that was things then, So
Then she met your dad.
Then she met my dad, obviously, and he was that bit older than her. And then obviously they obviously got married, and there's a lovely photo there even of them.
Yeah, they got married in 1937.
There's a lovely photo, unique photo of the old style of the dresses, the mother especially.
Yeah.
And the hat, the father, that should be still around. We can't find it. Some of our crowd have it, but we can't find it. But that hat is still around. And that's him there.
And did you ever hear anything about, was his own mother or father involved, or
his brother Dan Moloney was supposed to be involved, not to in a big way that he was, but he was involved with it because when he died, there's a letter there from Dan Breen somewhere in that book, a letter from Dan Breen saying, and his death, and obviously he was sympathising with Andy, and that is there.
There's the letter there. Dan Breen wrote to Andy Moloney sympathising with him on the death of his dad.
His brother Dan.
Of his brother Dan. And that was 1953. So we did find this emergency medal.
Yes.
And we think that belongs to Andy's brother Dan.
We're not sure yet, but
we're not sure. We have to find out more information on that.
Yeah, and this is all, and hopefully that we do find out who owns it, and that's history again, and it's more information that we didn't have, and that.
And are you enjoying going back and finding this stuff?
Yes, well, I say, Gertie, my wife is more enjoying it than I am. I suppose, of course, she's taking it all on, and she's doing all the work really. Along with, as you saw, the frames and all that for my niece that done them as well, to give her a hand to them. But she's enjoying it more so than me, I suppose, because she's taking it in. I wouldn't be a retainer. I know I wouldn't retain things, so she's actually retains a lot more than me.
But I do think that I never had a huge interest in history. But when I spoke to Bob O'Dwyer, Bob Dwyer in Cashel, he's now passed away, I was fascinated with the information that he was able to give me about all the paraphernalia I have here. And then I kind of took it on from there. But I suppose I'm very thrilled with this, what I call this, the book. It's called The Boss Man. There's about 70 pages in it that I put this together during COVID, and I'm very pleased about that because it's all factual. There's no hearsay in this book. It's to the gospel. And
you gave it to all there's eight of us in the family. There's 6 brothers and 2 sisters, and all the family got one each, which Gertie made up for them, and to grant that they have it for their family, and they can, they have history, and just kind of keeping it going. Like we are here now, and you're asking us questions, and you're trying to keep it going, and that's it's history that might be forgotten, and hopefully it won't.
da da dee 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 da dee 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 da dee da dee dee da da dee 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 dum dee da dee da dee da dee da 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 dee 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 da 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 dee 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 da dee dee da dee da dee 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 dum da da dee 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 da 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 dee da dee